All right, thank you for joining me. My name is Ray Schwartz. I'm going to run through in this micro training how we predictably generate 25 to 75 appointments a month, spending just 5 to 15 minutes each day checking our inbox. We have even done 1,000 plus calls scheduled in 1 month. This is a very conservative number per rep or per salesperson. Now, before we go into this, I'm going to say who this works for. Number one, B2B or B2B2C sales. Okay, what does B2B2C mean? That is if you're a financial advisor or you're in insurance or you're selling to people at their place of business. It works extremely well if you're targeting business owners, even if it is to sell them a consumer service or product. If you're recruiting, it works extremely well. You might be paying LinkedIn or Career Builder or some of these other sites a bunch of money to get a bunch of bogus inbound resumes that you have to read through and hope that the people respond to your outbound messages or your calls. Strategic alliances, it works extremely well. If you're, say, a mortgage person and you're trying to create a relationship with a team of real estate agents, it works very well. Or if you're a software company and you're looking to cross-sell your product with another company. Any type of professional or strategic alliance, when you're reaching out to these partners, it crushes it. In order for this to work, however, you have to have a good product or service. If your product stinks and no one wants to buy it, it doesn't matter how good the prospecting is, it's not going to work. You have to take sales calls. This system only works if you're scheduling a call to go into your sales process or if you're seeing the people in person. That's up to you. But it has to be a sales call. And you have to be able to close for our system to work. It's that simple. We have put some people in front of, I'm not going to name names, a lot of prospects. But if they can't pick up the phone and take over the conversation and close that person, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to work. So if you can close, your product is okay, it doesn't have to be great, and you sell over the phone or in person, this is meant for you. As you can see here on the left, always be closing. It's very hard to always be closing when you're spending a lot of time prospecting, a lot of time working on your task list, and all the bullshit that ends up clogging up your calendar. So we make it possible for you to always be closing because we're always prospecting. We're prospecting all the time for you. We use technology, team, and our playbook. So let's go into this. And I'm going to talk first about the old way. The old way of doing it, which you might be doing right now. I was taught this way when I worked at Smith Barney. I used to have to pick up the phone. I used to have to dial for dollars. Or I had to go to a bunch of networking events where I'd end up just drinking a lot more and socializing more than I would ever get any business. I thought it was great. I thought I was cool. I thought I was working hard, hunting. I was hustling, as a lot of people call it, or hitting the pavement. There's about 100 different sales cliches for the same thing. I was working way too hard. I struggled a lot. I had what I call the feast or famine lifestyle. 1 month I'd hit it big. By the next couple months, followed by really no sales at all. And the reason was I was servicing clients and I left my prospect and I stopped doing it. So the new way is data driven. Smart sales teams are crushing it right now. If they're using technology in their prospecting process, which is what we do for you. You have seen meteoric rises of some of these very lean startups that what Reid Hoffman calls their blitz scaling, which is a great book if you pick it up. They're blitz scaling growth because they're leveraging technology, data, and artificial intelligence throughout their entire sales process. A lot of marketers out there, a lot of internet gurus that you've probably seen ads for, or you might have watched other trainings that they've put out. They're going to preach a bunch of different tactics. They're going to make things seem overly complex. When really, if you use the technology and let that handle the complex tasks and let us plug in our playbook, it's really quite easy. If you think about it, it comes down to these 4 metrics. How many people can I reach? How many people right now, while you're watching this video, are seeing your brand? They're getting your message. They're seeing your offers. And how many of those people are in your target market? So if they do take action, they're the right prospect that has the cash flow to pay for your product and not be one of those fence sitters that you're going to have to chase around. From how many people can I reach, how many people can I turn into leads that raise their hand or show some interest in getting on the phone with you? And how many of those leads can I convert to actual appointments? Because if you are doing any type of online marketing or prospecting, you know how people fill out forms only to try to call them 16 to 20 times for them never to pick up the phone. So how many of those people can I convert to appointments, which is another process? And then it's simple. How many of those can I convert to sales? So if you just use these 4 metrics and you measure them throughout your entire sales process, you're going to have a very good grasp on exactly how many people you need to make the exact amount of revenue or income to hit your goal. We're going to help you with really how many people can I reach, how many can I turn into leads, and how many can I convert into appointments, and then it's up to you to close the deal. So let's go through an overview here, okay? I'm going to show you kind of the first part of how we do this. I'm not going to go into the playbook and the scripting and everything. That's our sales, that's our secret sauce. But I'm going to show you here how much it takes if you were to do some of this manually and you don't have the technology which we have. We're using LinkedIn messaging to reach out to people, to gather information. It's the largest database, and most people are not using it effectively. They send connection requests, they grow their network. You get all these lions. Hopefully you're not one of them, but I think it's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. Let's connect with every Tom, Dick, and Harry so that I can grow my network to 10,000 plus people, but I'm never really going to make a fucking dime off of any of them. What's the point? I want to use LinkedIn messaging, not to network or to find a job. I want to connect with the right people. I want to engage that person, and I want them to reply. And this is how I do it. We send a very non-salesy connection message, but still references who they are, their company, and some very contextual reason why we're reaching out to them. Then we're going to follow up with them 4 to even 5 times. Our average connection acceptance, and I'm going to go through these numbers in a minute, is 38% because we're targeting people with the right message and we're not sending a bunch of BS random requests. We get an average reply rate of people that are replying back that want to start a conversation about our product at 14%. Okay? But that's not it. Most people stop there. Most agencies that do paid LinkedIn, or there's a bunch of them popping up. That doesn't always equate to as many appointments as you want. So the key is to set up an omni-channel outreach. Multiple channels in a sequential cadence so that you're putting your brand in front of that person everywhere and often. So while we're doing this, if they're not going to follow up, we're going to automatically take that lead, put it into our outbound email system, find their email, their direct corporate email, and reach out to these people using a very tactical and proven scripting method of outbound email to get, on average, 29% open rate. Now, we've seen in the 70s here. This is our average. We've done some very hard campaigns with C-suite executives, so it dropped it down. If you're really zoned in on product market fit and you know exactly who your target is, this number we've seen as high as 83% open rate. Then we're getting an average reply rate of 7%. So all those people that we connected with, that we wanted to target on LinkedIn, that either didn't accept our connection request or did not reply, we're automatically reaching out to through outbound email, the majority of them. Now, you can't find every single person's outbound email address, but we find a good amount. And this outbound email chain is producing a lot of requests. You might say, well, cold email doesn't work, it's spam. Really, every single major technology company and a lot of fintech companies now that are crushing it are using outbound email directly to acquire new clients. You have to know how to do it, and we've tested millions of emails just this year, so we know exactly what works without pissing people off. Now, the next thing that we're doing is offline touches. Okay, if they're not converting on LinkedIn or outbound email, we can fire off what's called a programmatic direct mail using a system called Log. It sends out a direct mail that's dynamic with not only images, but also with that person's exact information in there. You can even pull a picture from LinkedIn and put it in there. You can get as creative as you want. You can do postcards, as well as this next icon here is called Bond, and there's a couple other ones that we use that send programmatic handwritten notes. So if you have a very high level list of people that each deal is worth a big ticket, I often recommend putting these handwritten notes in there and sending them to them. And they're not only going to see you on LinkedIn, on outbound email, but they're going to get a handwritten note. It stands out. No one's doing this, I can tell you that. The next thing is a voicemail drop. So most lines are voice over IP. We can do what's called a ringless voicemail, or we have a team of people that go in, find the phone numbers, and they actually dial in the middle of the night and drop your voicemail. So it's the first thing that they hear when they get into the office the next day. So those are our offline touches that are congruent with all of the other systems as you see here. Average response rate, 16%. So hopefully I've got your attention now. The greatest part about this is that it's all suppressed inside of our software. We're reaching out to these people at scale, and that's what I'm going to show you in a minute. We're doing this at scale, which is very difficult if you were to do this manually. It would literally take you all day to send all these requests, to maintain a list and make sure that the follow-up person that replied, that they don't get an email or they don't get a programmatic mail. It takes a lot to do all of this. We've made it in our technology very easy. The next thing is custom audience paid ads. Okay, so once that person connects with us, we automatically grab their email directly from LinkedIn, the LinkedIn profile. So if you've done any type of paid advertising, you know what a custom audience is. Pretty much what it does is we take their phone number, which we can get sometimes, we get their corporate email, and we get their LinkedIn email, which often is their Gmail, which is their personal account, which they have also used to sign up for all of these other services. So while they're seeing all of these messages through LinkedIn, outbound email, and offline touches, they're also, if we match that exact record, which the match rate is usually anywhere from 50 to 70%, we're going to start showing them ads on Facebook. We're going to show them ads on Google, their third-party network, through AdRoll, Twitter, and a bunch of other different networks. So they're going to see you literally everywhere. It's like you're virtually stalking them. But if they're the right fit, they'll take an action. As I said, the goal is to hit them omni-channel. So to explain that again, the power of this, think of you getting these. You get a connection request. You get a follow-up that sends them a little bit of content, introduces yourself in a non-salesy, non-spammy way. You get another follow-up on LinkedIn that says, hey, I just put out this new training. You want to check it out? Let me know if you have time to get on a call this week. I can explain how I can help your company generate more prospects, or whatever your pitch is. Whoa, shit. All of a sudden, look, Ray Schwartz. He's sending me an ad right now on custom match on Google. I see him on the sites that I'm starting to go to when I'm reading my morning news. I'm seeing him in my Twitter feed. And now we can also target them directly on LinkedIn. Everywhere they're seeing you. Oh, wow, look. I'm picking up my mail and what's going on here? I got a message from Ray and a handwritten note. Boom. Nobody is doing this stuff. And really, I'm not going to even keep this training on that long because you're going to have a bunch of jabronis. It's a 90s, the rock term. But they're going to try to start copying this. So if you've got to this, you're a leg up. Now, you could do all this stuff yourself. Go try to do it. Take a long time. It's taken me a lot of money to figure this out. The next thing is, after we've done all of this, the goal is in the messaging to push them to a website or live chat, or obviously to reply and schedule a time. But the key to the next 10 to 15 years, even far beyond into the future, is pushing people to chat and to bots, to answer their questions in real time so that you can pick up the conversation. You already have that ability inside of LinkedIn, but LinkedIn right now does not allow you to automate all of the follow-up with AI, with chat. So what we do is we push a lot of these people to chat with us through Facebook Messenger and through text messaging. It's engaging, the open rate is through the roof, and once people have gone through this process and engaged, we push them to chat and to bots, as well as we plug in a system for an additional cost where we have our own call center of American-based. They're in New York, and they dial out and set the appointments for people that show interest for you. So we've got everything covered. You could plug this in as a single solopreneur and automatically get the capabilities of a huge team for a fraction of the cost. So I've started to go over a little bit more than I wanted here, but let's go through a quick example here, just the LinkedIn. I'm not going to go through all the other stats. Proven personalized scripting. We send 65 connection request messages, let's just say each and every day. We can send a lot more than that. You can even bulk up and do a bunch of people on your team, or 10, 15 accounts, whatever you want. From there, we're on average getting about 24 connection requests. 38% is the average acceptance, and 14 people are replying. So 3 to 4 people a day are replying. Okay, the key is we're sending these replies within 15 to 20 minutes every single time after they connect with us. And we're repeatedly, as I showed you, following up with follow-up messages to try to get them engaged. So what is that each month? 1950 all the way up to about 2100. It varies. We do it at random so that LinkedIn does not pick up on this. We have created a system that makes it mimic a human being, and then we have people on our team that monitor it. So 1950, 720, that's 90 conversations. If you have 90 conversations with a hyper-targeted list of people that are best fit for your product, that are in your niche, how many of those do you think that you can turn into sales? Okay, on average, we've seen a 17% conversion, okay, to meetings. So that's a minimum per account, a minimum, and this is the low, really low amount, 15 meetings. We have seen, as I said before, we did one campaign for a digital marketing company. We actually helped digital marketers too. And it was 1,700 responses. So it just depends. This is ultra conservative, this number, 15 meetings. If you had 15 meetings, how many of those meetings could you close? You know that number. So if you look at it, remember, we're sending these requests, but we're also following up. So this is only the first channel, okay? This is through the first message how many we're getting. So 20 people of this group, remember, let's just say 4 of them reply. 20 people sent a connection request, we're still going to hit them up. And we're going to get 3 people on follow-up 3. We're going to get another 2 people, reply rate around 11% on the second follow-up. We're going to follow up with them again and get 10% of the people. So you see how it's dwindling down, this 20 people. The next, 5% reply rate on follow-up 4. Because if they have seen it for this many times, it's more than likely after that they're not going to convert. Okay? So the number increases. It grows. So we've come to the end here. That's how we do it. You can take it and do it the slow way. You could try to figure all this out. You can try to figure out the technology. There's some technology out there, but it all doesn't work together. You could try to figure out the playbook. We have tested millions of messages, and I have failed over and over again until a couple of years ago when we found really the formula to do the scripting to plug into the technology. We have the playbook, we know how it works, and we're constantly improving and evolving it. So you could take the slow way, you could do it yourself. It might take a couple months, it might take a year. You might figure it out, but more than likely it's going to take a long time, and most people quit. At the same time, it's very slow to tie all these things together, and if you're going to try to do this manually yourself, you'd have to hire someone in India or the Philippines, and then you have to worry about that person representing your brand and what they're going to do with access to your profile. I've went through it all before. I've been scammed. I've had people try to get my account shut down. I know, and I've already made the mistake, so you don't have to. Or Ferrari, Italia here, the fast way. Okay? We plug it into our proven playbook. You have to do a little bit of work, very little. Help us refine the messaging, tell us what your offer is, and really, after that, you have to either pick up and answer the phone, call a person, pick up the conversation on LinkedIn or in your inbox, or pick up the conversation in chat. That's it. After they're engaged, you pick up the conversations, you talk to them, or you can hire us and we can call out and actually schedule the meetings for you if they show interest. It's up to you. Delegate, automate, accelerate. That's what we're offering. Thank you for watching this training. Sign up for a one-on-one consultation. We can go through this, see how it might implement into your business. Thank you for watching. I hope to talk to you soon. And I hope that you take action here. Because by watching this all the way to the end, hopefully you gain value. And if you're doing this, hats off. You're a sales hacker. I've met very few that are doing this. And if you are doing it, great. If not, let's get this implemented. You're going to see leads, you're going to see appointments, and you're going to see more sales.